If you're already well off with a good pension and/or retirement, then why not leave America? At least for a little while. It might be exactly what you need. But don't fall for the mainstream idea that you must make your move permanent, because you don't. And prudence dictates that you shouldn't. Hello and welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle. Stay in America if you want to make a decent living. If you like the financial benefits and opportunities and high-paying jobs in America, it's probably a good idea to stay put. If you want to start your own business or work for a company or appropriate your skills in a high-paying career, it's probably better that you stay in America. The USA is one of the top 5 best countries to financially get ahead and enjoy a comfortable lifestyle for yourself and family. There are exceptions, such as those that have businesses they run from their computer, and that is a totally different category. Best financial opportunities: the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, Japan. In America, you don't have to be rich to have a decent life. Home prices are fair and decent. Even though the market has gone up considerably, there are still decent middle-class homes around $100,000 in every single state, if you don't have to live in a major metro area. If it's possible for you to not have to be in that major metro area, you don't necessarily have to be very far away to get prices on real estate that are much more affordable, especially when you get a fixer, which is what we recommend. This applies even in California, although you would have to move out of that major metro area, which you're contemplating anyway, or you wouldn't be watching this video, right? You can find decent livable houses with big yards in most areas of the U.S. that need only cosmetic work like paint and some updating for around $70,000 to $100,000. Here's some of those homes. And even in California, if you go up just a little bit, $150,000 to $200,000, it is still possible to find decent fixers, but always outside of those major metro areas. Now, of course, a lot of folks buy homes outside of their price range, meaning their eyes are bigger than their wallets. That just means they're allowing their emotions to dictate their spending. Less than 28% of working-age homeowners in the U.S. have fully paid off their homes, which suggests that in a subdivision, let's say of 50 homes, approximately 14 homes might be paid off on average. That's not very many. So if you're trying to decide whether to leave or stay in order to reset your financial lifestyle and live a more balanced life, we're saying you can do it here. You just modify your plan a little bit, and voila! You don't have to feel like you're forced to leave the USA if you don't want to. Hopefully you will consider that even those on more modest incomes have options. Not everyone has to subject themselves to the $400,000 home price tag, and the key is to have proper priorities, which is to say, look at being either completely out of debt or able to get out of debt in a short amount of time. 30-year mortgages should not be the goal. That's crazy. Anything can happen, such as price inflation, dollar devaluation, hospital bills, and you pile up more and more debt. You could even lose your job. Anything could happen in those 30 years. And this is why many folks are broke. If you have a smaller income, look at homes at between $100,000 to $150,000 price range. This keeps you from being in debt to the banks for 30 years. Here's a typical 10-year fixed on a home with payments at around $800, including taxes and insurance, with 20% down. Using 20% down in your $700 to $875 a month total housing budget, which includes the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, on a 10-year fixed supports a home of between $150,000 and $220,000 price range. In 10 years, you'll own your own home. instead of 30 years struggling to make high cost payments in a high cost environment that seems to be getting costlier by the day. So here's a fact. If you live at or under your financial means, you will have a decent lifestyle in America. Here's another fact. If you live above your means, you'll get way over your head and will have a difficult time staying afloat. And if you don't curb those expenses ASAP, they grow bigger and bigger, and you'll end up in your car. Fact. We have choices in America. We can choose soundly and with diligence based on what we earn, or we can choose inappropriately for our budget and begin the long financial struggle of trying to make ends meet because of mismatched priorities. Now, you can leave America if you don't need or want the opportunities and financial benefits of a job or career or making a decent living for yourself, and you already have enough money to live out the rest of your life abroad. Then moving abroad is something you can do for the adventure and culture. If you're already well off with a good pension and or retirement, then why not leave America, at least for a little while? It might be exactly what you need. But don't fall for the mainstream idea that you must make your move permanent, because you don't, and prudence dictates that you shouldn't. So moving abroad makes more sense for those who are already and perpetually financially independent. That's because when you move abroad, you'll be putting your financial life on pause. You'll only be spending money, not earning money, and we all know what that does. It drains your finances. I know that when we met expats that moved to Cuenca, Ecuador, most of them told us they sold their homes in the USA, thinking it would be a forever permanent move to Cuenca, Ecuador. And judging by some of the comments we get, it appears that some of the people that live abroad now have reported that they would like to come back to the US but can't, because they don't have a home anymore to come back to, and they don't want to rent for $2,000 or more a month. Understandable. This is a real tragedy, and we share your sentiments completely. We sold our home in the U.S. and then moved abroad, and stayed abroad for 13 years. But when we came back, we didn't want to pay $2,000 rent either. It just wasn't in our budget. But we conquered that problem by buying a cheap fixer, and we're really glad we did. We're not saying it's not a lot of work, because it is, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We wanted to come back to the US, and that's how we did it. We now have a solid roof over our head and no rent or mortgage. I love saying that. No rent, no mortgage. Other countries do not pay the kinds of wages you'll earn in America either. Even burger flippers in the USA earn between $40,000 and $60,000 a year, depending on which state you live in. America needs workers in every field. Even with the onslaught of AI, there are many jobs to be had in the USA. As a matter of fact, the USA is a smorgasbord of opportunity. Bottom line, if your ambition and goals are to find a good job or start up a business, own a home and raise a family and become somewhat financially independent, then America is for you. But if those things don't matter and you're already financially independent, move abroad. Number 2, leave America if you hate America. If you believe the legacy media that Americans are leaving the USA in record numbers and that America is just an awful place to live, and that people are struggling to pay their electric bills, millions of people are living on the street, and young people unable to own their own homes, then you probably need to leave, because you're living your life through the eyes of what other people are telling you. Now, we're not saying those things aren't happening, but if you are contemplating going abroad, then you're probably not one of those at those extremes, and that means you perceive your options to be shutting down, and you perceive that your only option is to leave. Are we right? Is that true? Is that how you perceive it? Some people do not have the vision or the stamina to think about all of their options. Some younger Americans want things given to them on a silver platter, and unfortunately, that's not how it works in America. You don't work, you don't eat. It's very simple. Now, we don't mean anything by this, but it's true. Some people are so easily swayed by a cheap rent in another country that they simply believe all the negative sentiments about the U.S. and off they go. They say there's too much gun violence in America. The food is the most unhealthy in the world. Healthcare is too expensive. There is too much political garbage. The government is corrupt and the environment is simply too chaotic to live in. Now let's say that some of these things are true, because they are. What do you think you're walking into when you move to a foreign country? Do you think it's going to change your life in some magical way? Come on now, you know better than that, right? So stay in America, because in the end, it all boils down to trade-offs. What are you willing to give up in the USA for something that you will receive in another country? Make the list. It can't just be one thing. It has to be more than one thing. And you have to be willing to give the USA up. Now, if you make the list and you're actually honest with yourself, you would not be so inclined to pack your bags on a whim. And that's all we're saying here. Many Europeans that have come to the U.S. for the World Cup have been making videos about how their media has distorted their view of the USA. Did you know this was going on? European World Cup tourists shocked after finding out they have been lied to about America. This is not the only video. There's a bunches of them all over the internet from different countries in Europe. Europeans from all over Europe have been gloating about how nice Americans are, about how tasty the food is, about the size and variety of food in the grocery stores, about the subdivisions and the size of the yards. And look at this. This Scottish couple is leaving Europe and moving to America. They liked it so much. In other words, in their words, we finally see the real America. That's what they called their video. Here's the clip.
It makes us proud to be future Americans.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes me, I'm so proud of America for people seeing it for finally what it is. I know you don't want to admit it, Europe, but your minds have just been blown. America has been descended upon by 40,000 Scottish fans in Boston, and it has fundamentally changed the way that Europe looks at America. What you're hearing from the media is nonsense.
This is something we're known for so long, and we're just happy that other people can see it as well.
The vibe in Boston has completely been shifted. If you've never watched our channel before, I'm Paul and this is Emily. And we're moving to America, and the reason that we've got this channel is to share our opinions, our perspectives, and more importantly share our experiences and the journey that we're actually on.
And also tell you guys why we love America and American people.
Yeah, exactly, just tell you why we love America. We're picking up ourselves, our dog, and moving to the great state of Tennessee.
And it doesn't stop there. There are thousands of Europeans in the USA right now, and they have nothing but good things to say about America. This just goes to show how the media sways our feelings about things, and so we have to be really careful about what we believe. And the grass only appears greener because that's what you're being told by those who have an agenda. If Europeans have been lied to about America, how much more are you being lied to about how much better Europe, or any country for that matter, is? So the bottom line is, if you believe what everyone is telling you about how much greener the grass is in another country, then move abroad and enjoy your life. That's all we can say. Then again, some chickens will always believe that no matter what you do or say. But if you realize that trusting in what strangers are saying on the media, you might want to count your blessings and figure out what all your options are right here at home, and stay and make your paradise here, where many folks are realizing the grass is really much, much greener. We've been telling our viewers that all along. Just like that chicken that keeps jumping the fence for the perception of greener grass, which may actually be greener, but then gets tackled by a big dog and is begging us to save it and bring him back home. Take care, everyone, and bye-bye.